Hello and welcome to another video from War Secrets. Fighter plane design, especially when war is raging about, is a hit or miss deal. Fighter jet designs either succeed or they are abandoned when found wanting in the field of battle. Yet, in the case of the P-39, a plane that was a recipe for a disaster for the US turned out to be one of the star performers of the Red Army. In today's video, we are going to talk about the P-39 Airacobra and its legacy, so stick around till the end. Now let's begin. The P-39 Airacobra may be the least popular American fighter plane of World War II, having been deemed insufficient by military planners at the outbreak of hostilities and dismissed by many historians as nearly useless. The P-39 could simply not compete with iconic American warbirds like the elegant and agile P-51 Mustang or the hard-charging, hard-hitting P-47 Thunderbolt in terms of high-altitude performance. Despite this, it was Airacobra pilots, not Thunderbolt or Mustang pilots, who received the greatest scores of any aviators flying an American warplane during World War II. Why don't many people know about it? Probably because the pilots in question were Soviet. The Bell Aircraft Corporation, founded in 1935, was noted for unusual designs like the Airacobra bomber-destroyer, which would have looked quite at home on the cover of a science fiction magazine. In 1939, Bell took a unique approach to the design of its prototype XP-39 single-engine interceptor. Instead of building weaponry to fit the plane, Bell designed the plane to fit the gun, a huge Oldsmobile T9 37mm automatic cannon firing through the propeller hub. The caliber was similar to that of early World War II tank guns. A single direct hit was all it took to bring down an enemy plane, and for good measure, the P-39 had two more 50 caliber machine guns in the nose and four 30 caliber weapons in the wings. The Allison 12-cylinder V1710 inline engine was positioned behind the cockpit, with the propeller shaft going between the pilot's legs to create room for the nose-mounted cannon and 30 rounds of ammo. It was also the first single-seat fighter to use a third extended landing gear under the nose in addition to one on either side of the fuselage. This was an early example of a more stable tricycle configuration that is now conventional. The pilot had superb visibility thanks to a high bubble canopy that opened from a side door, while self-sealing fuel tanks and roughly 200 pounds of armor plating added to early P-39D production versions boosted the Airacobra's survivability. In 1939, the XP-39 prototype achieved a peak speed of 380 miles per hour. The Army Air Corps, however, insisted that Bell enhanced speed even further by removing drag-producing parts. To address the drag issue, the designers decided to remove the Airacobra's turbocharger air scoop from under the fuselage. This choice destroyed the Airacobra's chances of becoming a frontline fighter, as planes without turbochargers handled like a brick over 15,000 feet. In a few years, American bombers would sally forth on 25,000-foot attacks against Nazi Germany, while German fighters would ascend even higher to ambush them. Clearly not good enough. The Airacobra's poor climb rate also made it ineffective at its original mission of intercepting high-flying enemy bombers. The P-39's centrally located engine moved the plane's center of gravity to the back, making it vulnerable to severe spins after the cannon ammunition on the nose was depleted. Before the United States entered into World War II, the United Kingdom obtained around 200 P-400 export model Airacobras with a 20mm gun in the propeller hub. However, Royal Air Force pilots had fought the Luftwaffe in numerous high-altitude fights and simply hated the Airacobra. Before the Airacobra was retired from the British service, only 601 Squadron flew the American fighters on a single combat mission. When the first two American Army Air Force fighter groups landed in England in the summer of 1942, the RAF convinced them to abandon their P-39s in favor of British Spitfire Mark Vs. Eventually, a few P-39 Army Air Force units saw action in North Africa and Italy. They provided air support for the Allied troops in North Africa and Italy, as well as amphibious landings at Anzio and southern France, mostly in a ground attack role, benefiting from their massive weaponry and outstanding low-altitude handling. In the Pacific Theater, the P-39 had a shorter but more notable role. The only modern Army Air Corps fighters available to hold the line against the initial Japanese blitz into the Southwest Pacific were Airacobras and older P-40 Warhawks in 1942. On the islands of Guadalcanal and Papua New Guinea, Airacobras fought fierce air engagements in support of Marine and Army troops. The ill-fated fighters were pitted against more nimble Japanese planes piloted by more experienced pilots, notably the infamous A6M0. However, the P-39s struggled to fly quickly enough above 20,000 feet to catch Japanese bombers, and their 500-mile range limited their effectiveness throughout the Pacific Islands. Despite this, Airacobras were crucial in intercepting Japanese bombers, plunging to low altitude to pound Allied ships. When Lieutenant Bill Fiedler scored 5 kills over New Guinea and the Solomon Islands, including 3 zeros in a row, he became the sole American P-39 ace before sadly dying in a runway collision. Remember how eager the British were to get rid of their P-400s? In the winter of 1941-42, the British shipped 212 of the fighters to Murmansk via dangerous Arctic convoys as hand-me-down military aid to the desperate Soviet Union. Pilots from the Soviet Union spent several months testing these ill-fated fighters, attempting to solve the aircraft's vexing spin difficulties. To everyone's surprise, the Soviets loved them. Stalin even wrote Roosevelt a personal letter requesting more. The P-39 completely matched Soviet standards. In the Cobra's first 2 months in Soviet service, the 20 Airacobras of the elite 153rd Guards Fighter Regiment, operating out of Voronezh, shot down 18 bombers and 45 fighters, largely Junker 88s and Messerschmitt 109s, losing only 8 planes. Unlike the strategic bombing campaigns in Western Europe, which involved high-altitude airfights, the majority of air operations over the Eastern Front took place at low altitude in support of ground troops, a domain in which the P-39's flaws were largely ignored. Furthermore, Soviet airfields were typically located near the front lines, making the Airacobra's short range irrelevant. Each P-39 had its own radio, which was unusual among Soviet fighters during the World War II. The American fighter plane quickly received the loving moniker Kobruchka, or Little Cobra, thanks to its more comfortable pilot's seats and more extensive armor plating compared to Soviet designs. Around 5,000 P-39s were sent to the Soviet Union, with 1,000 being lost due to various factors. 2,500 single-engine fighters were flown from Buffalo, New York to Alaska by American and Russian pilots, many of whom were women, across the Bering Strait into Russia, and then across a perilous route of Siberian airfields to frontline units in Europe. Another 2,000 were transported in cartons across Allied-controlled Iran. The P-39's gun armament is cited in many histories as making it an ideal ground attack plane. The Airacobra was primarily designed with shooting down enemy bombers and accompanying Soviet Tu-Stormovik ground assault planes, and the Soviets did not even require anti-tank munitions for the 37mm cannon. To take out German planes, Soviet Airacobra pilots were eager to ram them, and one P-39 ace even sawed off the tail of a German 109 with his propeller. In fact, 5 of the Soviet Union's top 10 fighter aces, including number 2 scorer Alexander Pokryshin, who scored 59 kills, 48 on the P-39, and number 4 scorer Grigory Rechkalov with 56 kills and 50 on P-39. Mostly flew P-39s, though exact totals vary significantly across sources. These Soviet ace pilots each scored more kills flying P-39s than any other Allied pilot flying an American fighter plane during World War II. Quite an accomplishment for a design that the US Army Air Corps deemed substandard. Finally, 2 incidents on the eve of the German surrender in May 1945 highlighted the P-39's significant contribution to the Soviet war effort. Over Bohemia, a German Me-262 jet fighter shot down a P-39, the last plane shot down by the Luftwaffe during World War II. The next day, a Soviet Airacobra shot down a twin-engined Focke-Wulf 189 reconnaissance plane above Prague, the last Luftwaffe plane downed during the war. The larger P-63 King Cobra, which had a 4-bladed propeller, NACA-designed laminar flow wings, and ultimately a turbocharger that kicked in whenever the plane went beyond 10,000 feet, was Bell's second attempt at the P-39 design. The Soviet Union even sent a test pilot and an engineer to help with the plane's design. Despite its 410 miles per hour top speed, the Army Air Corps considered the King Cobra to be inferior to the P-51 Mustang, and only a small number were painted bright orange to serve as pinball practice targets for anti-aircraft weapons. However, a secret deal limited their combat usage to the brief but decisive Soviet operation against Japanese forces in Manchuria in August 1945, resulting in over 2,400 being transferred to the Soviet Union. It's ironic that Bell's designers built a fighter that didn't meet operational needs of the US military but was perfect for the Soviet Union's low-level tactical air battle. That merely goes to prove that in the success of a combat jet, the application is just as crucial as design. It just so happened that the task of maximizing the capabilities of severely despised American fighter fell to Soviet pilots, and the rest, as they say, is history. This brings today's video to an end. We hope you liked it. If so, please subscribe to War Secrets and press the bell icon to receive notifications for our latest videos. Bye!